ordinance that doesn't allow courts to admit complaints against netas and public officials. An ordinance that gags media from reporting on the corrupt. This shocking ordinance or executive order has been put out by the BJP government in Rajasthan.
Congress is now protesting the ordinance and the bill tabled by Vasundhara Raje government today in the assembly tooth and nail. But problem goes beyond that, and it is very serious. It is not only hurting the civil society, but also the people in legal fraternity are concerned about such kind of ordinance which are going against the grain of the very constitution of the India.
The draconian diktat grants the corrupt effective immunity for up to 180 days, within which time the government may or may not sanction a probe. Court action or media reportage can follow only once such a probe is sanctioned. The ordinance also bans media from disclosing the identities of judges, public servants or netas facing allegations. If the law is violated, a journalist can be sentenced to 2 years in prison. The opposition is crying foul. They say this bill will only help shield the corrupt within the Vasundhara Raje government.
The tabling of this bill is illegal, is unconstitutional, it is against the norms of our democracy. To prevent corruption is what government should do. But here Vasundhara ji is making sure कि जो Modi ji कहते थे ना खाऊंगा ना खाने दूंगा, यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं हम भी खाएंगे तुम्हें भी खाने देंगे.
It's most unfortunate that the Rajasthan government is intending to promulgate this ordinance. This is an attack on democracy.
The Raje government notified the ordinance on 7th September. It has now been tabled as a bill for approval in the State Assembly. The BJP, for its part, has defended the ordinance move. They say a law was necessary to end frivolous and baseless allegations meant to defame officials and ministers.
मैं समझता हूँ जिस प्रकार का कानून आ रहा है ये सारी शंकाएं निर्मूल है। यहाँ तक कि इसमें तो सारे लोक सेवक से तात्पर्य है कि सारे जनप्रतिनिधि चाहे वो पंच से लेके यदि वो प्रधानमंत्री तक भी आता है तो भी ये कानून सभी पे लागू होगा। ऐसा नहीं है कि अधिकारियों को बचाने के लिए किया जा रहा है।
As journalists and lawyers take to streets to protest against the draconian diktat, Mirror now asks, why is the Raje government in a hurry to bring a law to gag media? Why do Rajasthan's officials need immunity? Can't the law be misused to shield the corrupt? What does the Raje government fear? Mirror Now report.
The media and the judiciary are among the pillars of our democracy. What happens when a government makes a law that effectively prevents the media and the judiciary from doing their job? What this law effectively does, it says that no government officer, whether a sitting judge, a former judge, sitting magistrate, a former magistrate, or any public servant, remember this includes police officers as well, if they face a charge of any sort, they cannot be investigated until the government decides that there is warrant to investigate. And nobody can report on this accusation or investigation for 6 months. And if a journalist reports on that accusation, the journalist stands to face 2 years in jail. Shocking overstep here by the state government, attempting to completely gag the media and allowing the corrupt to run free. What was the government possibly thinking? How could they possibly think that this would work, that this would be okay in a democracy? Why is the Vasundhara Raje government protecting the corrupt? Why would they think that they could make a decision like this and get away with it? That's the question we're asking this evening. This is a very, very important conversation to have on a national stage. Because when you gag the media, when you prevent the judiciary from doing its job, you effectively break down democracy as we know it. You take the power away from the people and give it to the corrupt. From here, it could be a very, very slippery slope to a complete breakdown of law and order. Joining me on the show this evening, Manish Parikh is a BJP leader, former Deputy Mayor of Jaipur. Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, will join us through the course of the conversation. Aman Pawar is a spokesperson of the Congress. Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate with the Supreme Court. Aditya Jain is a lawyer who has filed a petition against this very ordinance. Sharad Pradhan, senior journalist. Urmilesh is a senior journalist as well. And Arun Ram, resident editor of the Times of India in Chennai. I welcome all of you to this conversation and I thank you for giving us your time. It's very important here to help our audience understand what this ordinance actually does and why it is so dangerous today in our society. I'm going to start with Sanjay Hegde. Sanjay Hegde, what is your opinion on the ordinance, and would you explain to us what this really means in simple English terms?
But what this simply means is that if there is an allegation of any crime having been committed by somebody who's a public servant, not only will there be no investigation until the government gives a go-ahead, the very fact that there are these allegations cannot be reported by any reporter or anybody else for that matter. Why are we talking only about the press out here? Because these days, in the era of social media, every citizen is a citizen reporter. Conceivably, he can also be dragged in by just putting that out, the very fact that there is such an allegation and that permission has been sought from the government to sanction that further investigation. Even putting that fact out on social media would conceivably put a citizen at risk. Therefore, what this law effectively does is to provide a 6-month absolute blanket immunity against investigation, against reporting of the allegation. There were no previous laws which required sanction of the government before a court actually took cognizance of any complaint. But the stage where a court took cognizance of a complaint was at a much later stage. The normal laws in criminal law, which required somebody to seek sanction of the government, did not have all these add-ons which prevented disclosure in the press or in any other media for that matter, did not give the public servant against whom allegations were made this kind of invisibility cloak which the Rajasthan ordinance does.
I have to interrupt you for just a minute.
My opening statement.
Yes.
Is that...
Sorry, I apologize. Sachin Pilot joins us on the phone line right now. Sachin Pilot, you led a protest today against the gag order that was brought about by the state government of Rajasthan. Explain to us why you believe that this is a dangerous ordinance.
This ordinance is against our constitution. It puts a gag order on the media and takes away all the powers of the judiciary. Unless the government gives its consent, no action can be taken against any corrupt officer, Neta or Babu. I think it's draconian. It's something that nobody wanted. But the Chief Minister is trying to institutionalize corruption in our state. That is why this sort of a law is trying to be enforced in Rajasthan. We will appeal to the High Court. We will go to all extent to make sure that this law does not become a reality in Rajasthan.
Mr. Pilot, there's one argument from the ruling government that it is meant largely to prevent defamatory accusations or to prevent media trials. Do you see any sort of, water in that argument?
There may be a few professional litigators, but the idea is to catch those people who are harassing honest officers. My point is that honest officers must be protected, but you can't expand the ambit of this protection given to senior officers, right from MPs, MLAs, ministers, and any politician. Basically, for 6 months, nothing can be done, and a journalist can be put in jail for 2 years for naming someone who is involved in corruption. So the only authority that can decide whether someone is corrupt or not is the government. And obviously the government of the day will never indict its own people. So therefore it's a self-fulfilling bill that has been tabled. It's against democracy and there's no checks and balance left anymore. The judicial powers are now resting with the government. So the executive becomes so powerful that nothing and nobody can challenge their authority.
So you did mention that you will move to the High Court. What is the plan going forward, Mr. Pilot?
Well, we have all courses are open. We will oppose it in the assembly. We are protesting on the streets. The public sentiment is with us. Everybody is opposed to this new bill. And if all else fails, we'll appeal to the High Court to strike down this illegal law. Because just because you have a majority in government doesn't mean that you can pass laws that are against public interest. And this corruption issue has become very topical in Rajasthan because 4 years of BJP government has seen so much corruption. And to my mind, Vasundhara ji has done this to protect her future because the law states that current and ex-babus and netas will be protected. So it shows that there is insecurity in their minds.
All right, Mr. Pilot, many thanks for joining us here on the Urban Debate on Mirror Now. That was Sachin Pilot of the Congress who led the protest today, joining us on the phone line. I just want to open this up to bring in all of the opening arguments. Let me bring in Arun Ram, resident editor, Times of India, Chennai. Mr. Ram, thank you for joining us. Sachin Pilot was just talking about the fact that this order effectively shields the corrupt. Do you agree?
Sorry, Faye, you're not audible.
We'll just get that audio checked and I'll come back to you. Sharat Pradhan, senior journalist, same question. Why is this ordinance dangerous?
Yeah. Well, it's clearly evident, you know, less said the better about the Rajasthan Chief Minister. We've heard a lot of stories about her, a lot of controversial stories. And here she has proved that she is actually protector of the corrupt. Because this law makes it blatantly evident that she doesn't want the corrupt to be punished, because everybody knows, we have experienced it, and I have personally experienced it. I have gone for PILs in the Supreme Court against corrupt people and they went to jail. And it was on this count because they were not getting, the government was not permitting. There were Chief Secretary of UP who was voted as the most corrupt IAS officer by the IAS Association. And I went into PIL in the Supreme Court, and then only action was taken against him. Before that, 3 successive chief ministers, 2 of them were BJP chief ministers, and they did not grant permission. So, you know, you can well understand what happens to the corrupt people, and this will be used as a tool against the honest and the upright who do not toe the line of the chief minister. It's as blatant as that. And it's a shame that an ordinance like this has been brought out, and the BJP is not, you know, is trying to cover up the whole thing. It is now. Is there any way that by and large, it has always happened? You can go into history, the number of cases, but at least I know of in UP, a number of cases where permission is never granted for prosecution of the corrupt. There are hundreds of cases pending before the Vigilance Department, and the government is not granting sanction. So this is obviously a law to protect the corrupt.
Right. Let me bring in Manish Parekh of the BJP. Manish ji, हमें समझाइए, ये आप लोग भ्रष्टाचार को क्यों प्रोटेक्ट कर रहे हैं?
जी. No, it is the only havoc which has been created by the opposition. Basically, it's a very sincere effort. I think the only shout the slogans towards corruption go back is not sufficient. I think it is the next step towards the sincere efforts about to protect the corruption towards, otherwise not corrupt people is to be protected for. It is the only thing which has been followed by a Supreme Court's justice in the case Anil Kumar versus I.K. Thappa. I think it is October 13th it was made by the Honorable Supreme Court, which has been clearly said that the people who are making their duty and job sincerely, they should not be harassed like anything, and they should be protected by the
there is a difference, Mr. Parekh, from harassing people and protecting the corrupt. Do you want us to believe that no investigation, no reporting for 6 months will ensure any sort of justice for the citizens of Rajasthan? Aren't you protecting the corrupt?
No, it never happens like anything. It will always take the 6 months towards that. It is the time period, the final time period. It may be in 6 days, it may be in 1 month. It doesn't matter but you cannot make a law in hurry and worry that only the limited time period is there.
Manish Parekh, answer this question for me, please.
Time period. Basically, the intention is very correct. If you just have it...
No, answer this question for me, please. In Rajasthan, reporting on a scam can give you 2 years in jail. Actually doing the scam gets no investigation and no reporting at all. How is this fair?
Not reporting, I must say, you can report, but you cannot allege the single man. You cannot name out the man. You cannot make a printed photograph or any identification towards to make him harass. Otherwise, it may be reported, no prohibition towards the FIR, no prohibition towards any complaint, no prohibition towards any reporting.
So please tell me then why the Editors Guild and the Bar Association right now is up in arms about this regulation. Why are the editors and the Bar Association, the lawyers, why are they all upset with this ordinance if it is in such good faith? They are not opposition. Lawyers are not your opposition. Journalists are not your opposition.
If you have gone through that particular sanction, if you have gone through the particular section of that 228B, I think it is very clear. You cannot name out the particular person, any identification of him. That's all. It doesn't mean for that you cannot report. The report is very basic thing. It ought to be done. It may done.
Then what do you
it
report?
Must done.
If you don't name the man, what do you report?
It is the only thing which I can. You can report, but you cannot name out the person. You cannot allege the person outside the court that he is doing so, he is doing so. This is the only thing, and particularly very short, very little, and very defined lines.
Very clever.
There. So I think it doesn't make people making any
Aman
towards it.
Aman Pawar, do you want to rebut?
It's very clear one. I can read out that if you, yeah.
Faye, I think this ordinance is nothing but, you know, an attempt to legalize corruption by the BJP government, and this ordinance is directly in teeth of the slogan that the Prime Minister gave during the elections. Na khaunga, na khane dunga.
Second step.
It actually is an instrument where they want to actually win, where they actually want to win over the support of the corrupt, so that they can indulge in corruption with the help of the corrupt. I want to ask today that if a person who has been charged with a crime and he's a public servant, be it the chief minister or a MLA or a minister, why should he not be named in the media?
Only read that particular lines. It is very clear one.
Sir, let me speak. I did not interrupt you.
Person should not be named. Person should not be named.
I will read out the lines. Let Aman Pawar finish speaking, please.
You can played a very important role.
Manish ji, let Aman Pawar finish speaking, please.
This argument by the BJP spokesperson, a person that somebody who is a minister or a ex-chief minister or a sitting chief minister cannot be named by the media while there are accusations against him. I think it is a very flawed argument, because media has played a very important role in the past, and it is by the role of the media and the role of the judiciary that repeatedly
what is the use of naming out anybody
various acts of corruption.
Okay. Manish Parekh is unfortunately interrupting. Let me just read this out. Aman, let me just read this out. This is what it says. No one shall print or publish or publicize any manner the name, the address, photograph, family details, and this is a clincher, or any other particulars which may lead to the disclosure of the identity of the accused, whom any proceeding under this section is pending. Now, this is a recipe for harassment, which means that either journalists don't report at all, or if they report, you will constantly harass them. But the thing that worries me more, Aman, the thing that worries me more, no magistrate will order an investigation, nor will any investigations be conducted against a person. So you have gagged the media and the judiciary?
I must also speak as a lawyer and not just as a party spokesperson. And I must say that it is just a matter of time before the High Court strikes this ordinance down, because it is directly in teeth of the Supreme Court judgment in the case of Lalita Kumari versus State of Uttar Pradesh, where the Supreme Court has directed that all state authorities have to mandatorily file an FIR where a cognizable offence is made out. So what gives Vasundhara Raje the authority to hold a complaint for 180 days before an action on the complaint is taken? You know, just imagine the plight of the complainant who has been harassed or who has been who has been demanded, if a public servant has demanded a bribe from the complainant, but the complainant has no remedy but to sit idle till 180 days till the Vasundhara Raje government takes a decision whether that public servant can be prosecuted or not.
Right. I have a couple of more members of the panel I want to bring in. Urmilesh. Urmilesh is a senior journalist who used to run Rajya Sabha TV.
Vasundhara Raje herself is protecting her future by doing so.
No, my humble submission is...
Yes.
The Chief Minister has been accused in various mining contracts, and I think she's protecting her own future by bringing in the
administration.
Let me bring in Mr. Arun Ram. Arun Ram, if you can hear me.
No, this is barely an allegation.
Arun Ram, if you can hear me, this is a recipe for harassment of journalists.
I think, this ordinance is at best ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And at worst draconian. Because the government, what it's trying to tell the journalists and even the magistrates, is that, listen, if you have a problem with us, please take our permission before you write about us or before you order an inquiry about us. This can be nothing less than a matter of ridicule, and I'm sure that a High Court or a Supreme Court will strike it down, because there have been precedents of such laws being struck down in Uttar Pradesh and Tamil Nadu and elsewhere. So the point here is, if you look at it, the biggest of scams in India have been unearthed either by public interest litigations or by the media, a large majority of them. Unless there are cases like fodder scam, where the new people who come into power try to do something else and bring out more dirt. So trying to muffle the media here, and also the judiciary, mind you. You're trying to tell the judiciary not to do its duty. This is ridiculous. So here is an extreme case of somebody trying to be too smart, bringing in an ordinance. I'm sure that this will be struck down in the letter, spirit and ethics of law and free speech.
And Arun Ram, what does this tell us about the intention of this government?
See, if you look at it, there is the climate across the country is something which is where the powers that be are clearly not happy with the way the media has been reporting things, to be frank. And in a big way, to a large extent, they've been able to silence a section of the media, or rather make them mend their ways. So this is, I feel I see it as an ongoing process, where and at the same time, some state governments are trying to be more loyal than the king. So this is a process. This is something which has been in the making for a while, and I think unless we nip this in the bud, the civil society, the media, probably it might even call, if at all this happens, this legislation stays put, I think even this could lead to certain things like civil disobedience in a very gentle way.
Right, I want to bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari as well, because there's another very serious problem here, and that is for RTI activists, for people who actually unearth the details, make these accusations, who will find themselves very, very vulnerable in the 6 months that they have to wait for the accusation to actually be investigated in. Ghanshyam Tiwari joins us right now. Why do you believe this ordinance is dangerous?
It is dangerous because it exposes the malintent of a government which was elected democratically. The intention of the government to walk with a corruption shield at a time when it has several recent cases of accusations, be it LED scam, mining scam, land scam. It is not that Rajasthan ranks as the least corrupt state in the country. It's rather the other way. So at a time when there's a government that is becoming unpopular by the day, elections would ensure that such corruption shields are used by politicians to amass more unaccounted wealth and use it in election spending to further muscle out the voice of democracy. You have senior panelists like Urmilesh ji. He can speak more at length, but there's one purpose of politics I want to clearly say, irrespective of the political party. The purpose of politics is to give more freedom and equality to the people. This is a retrograde step that takes away freedom as well as takes away equality from the people in asking the right question against corruption and giving a shield of corruption to the people who defeat a mandate.
Urmilesh ji, this is a gag order on the judiciary, on RTI activists, on journalists, on editors.
Absolutely, and what has been already told, yes. I would like to add 2-3 points.
Yes.
देखिए, राजस्थान की अगर मीडिया को देखें, राजस्थान में जर्नलिज्म को अगर देखें तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। मैं तमाम पत्रकारों और अखबार वालों को और वहाँ के टेलीविज़न चैनल्स के जो करस्पॉन्डेंट हैं सबकी बहुत ही इज्जत करता हूँ, लेकिन मैं ये बता दूँ कि पिछले कई सालों से, 3-4 सालों से सेंटर के बारे में या स्टेट के बारे में कोई ऐसी रिवीलिंग स्टोरी नहीं आई रही है जिसकी वजह से इस तरह का कानून लाने की ज़रूरत भी पड़ती सरकार को। तो फिर आखिर सरकार ने ऐसा ड्रैकोनियन, ऑटोक्रेटिक, अनडेमोक्रेटिक ये स्टेप क्यों उठाया? एक बड़ा सवाल उठता है। मैं राजस्थान के अखबारों को, वहाँ के टेलीविज़न चैनलों को लगातार फॉलो कर रहा हूँ। जिस वक्त ये ऑर्डिनेंस आया, आपको जानकर आश्चर्य होगा कि किसी बड़े अखबार ने, किसी बड़े चैनल ने इसे ठीक से रिपोर्ट भी नहीं किया कि हम जैसे दिल्ली में बैठे लोगों को ठीक से मालूम होता कि ऑर्डिनेंस में है क्या। ये तो हाल में अभी सामने आया है ये मामला, जब इसको फैसला किया गया कि ऑर्डिनेंस को हम विधेयक के रूप में पास कराएंगे, एक स्थायी कानून का जमा पहनाएंगे। अब सवाल उठता है कि फिर ऐसा क्यों किया गया? हमारे अभी मीडिया ट्रायल की बात कोई कर रहा था। मीडिया ट्रायल तो इस देश में पिछले 3-4 सालों से मैं देख रहा हूं, या तो अपोजिशन का होता है, अपोजिशन लीडर्स का, आम जनता का, आरटीआई एक्टिविस्ट का, ह्यूमन राइट्स जो एक्टिविस्ट हैं उनका, या ऐसे लोगों का जो डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स में काम कर रहे हैं, चाहे वो आरटीआई एक्टिविस्ट हों या दूसरे किस्म के लोग हों। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि राजस्थान में 2 तरह के लोग काफी एक्टिव इस हाल के दौर में रहे हैं। एक वे जो आरटीआई एक्टिविस्ट हैं, जो काफी एक्टिव हैं वहां राजस्थान में, और दूसरे वे जो सोशल मीडिया के जरिए अपनी बात को बहुत शिद्दत के साथ रखते आ रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि वसुंधरा राजे सरकार का जो ये हमला है अभिव्यक्त की आज़ादी पर, उसकी बुनियाद में 2 चीज़ें हैं। सोशल मीडिया को कैसे काउंटर किया जाए, और सोशल मीडिया को काउंटर करने की योजना पूरे देश में बड़े स्तर पर है। बार बार केंद्र के भी बड़े नेता कह चुके हैं। तो मुझे लगता है एक तरह का यह रिहर्सल है जो राजस्थान में कराया जा रहा है, और इस रिहर्सल के बाद एक छोटा सा रिहर्सल महाराष्ट्र में हो चुका है 2 साल पहले। हालांकि उसको बहुत शिद्दत के साथ एग्जीक्यूट नहीं किया गया, कई कारणों से काफी वहां भी दबाव पड़ा। लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इसके पीछे यही कहानी है जो राजस्थान में एक रिहर्सल के तौर पे ये पूरी सहमति से आया है। बड़े लोगों की पार्टी में जो निजाम है उसकी सहमति से आया है, और इसको देखने के लिए आया है कि देखें देश में रिएक्शन क्या होता है। माफ कीजिएगा, मानहानि विधेयक डॉक्टर जगन्नाथ मिश्रा जी ने बिहार में लाया था, जो इससे ज्यादा, इससे मुलायम था, इतना ड्रैकोनियन नहीं था। मैं उसको पूरे के पूरे उसके सारे प्रावधान पढ़ा हूं, और उसको जनता के दबाव में वापस करना पड़ा। राजीव गांधी जी ने लाया एक विधेयक, उसको भी वापस करना पड़ा। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इस वक्त जरूरत इस बात की है कि पार्टी इस बात को समझे कि इस तरह के ड्रैकोनियन, इस तरह के ऑटोक्रेटिक जो स्टेप्स हैं वो पार्टी और सरकार सबकी इमेज खराब करेंगे। इनको तत्काल माफी मांगते हुए वापस ले लेना चाहिए।
माफी मांगते हुए। I want to remind our viewers that Urmilesh ji, Arun Ram and Sharad Pradhan are very, very senior journalists, and their words are not to be taken lightly. But I want to bring in Sanjay Hegde very quickly. Sanjay Hegde, no magistrate shall order an investigation. What gives the government of a state the power to make a rule like this, banning magistrates from asking for investigations? This is. Do you read this as an overstep?
Well, there have been the earlier provisions on sanction also said that no court can take cognizance in matters involving public servants who do things in the course of their duty. But this particular ordinance takes it much further. This says that you can't even order an investigation under 156(3). No one can report. When you read out the section, you would not have missed the significance of those words. The intent is not to gag the journalists alone. The intent is to gag everyone. One little thing I want to tell you is that long ago, around the time of the Jain Hawala case, that's in the late 90s, there was something called the single directive, where the CBI was told that to investigate officers of the rank of Joint Secretary and above who took decisions, you needed special permission. And until that permission was given, no investigation would be launched. The Supreme Court struck that down in Vineet Narayan's case. There is a clear precedent, and that was a much milder form of this kind of lawmaking. Now this is using legislative power as overkill, giving an invisibility cloak against allegations, a complete shield for a period of 6 months. And what's going to happen within that period of 6 months? What is going to happen is that whoever has complained or whoever has asked for permission, he will be visited with all kinds of consequences. He will be given all kinds of blandishments to ensure that the complaint is not pursued. If the complaint is withdrawn, then there is no need for the government to sanction, and we are back to square one, everybody happy. That is the truly menacing nature of what this law is designed to actually bring into existence. And I confess that I do share the apprehensions of many on this panel who have said that Rajasthan is just a jhanki. The full picture is baki. That is, they are probably testing it out in one of their states before they bring it out on a national level.
You know, I just want to quote the Editors Guild here that has said that this is meant to harass the media, hide wrongful acts by the government servants, and drastically curb the freedom of press guaranteed by the Constitution of India. I'm taking this question back again to Manish Parikh, who represents the BJP, and Aditya Jain, who's sitting next to him, is the lawyer who filed the PIL against this particular ordinance. Manish ji, aapne abhi suna, you heard Urmilesh talk about the fact that this is an attack, it's a hamla on the press, on RTI, on social media, and he said, "आपको माफी मांगनी पड़ेगी." आप लोग माफी मांगेंगे अभी?
नहीं, कभी नहीं. मैंने आपको कहा कि दिस इज ओनली रिप्रेजेंटेशन जो हो रहा है. सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि आदमी के बारे में छापने से मनाही होगी या उसके बारे में फोटो या उसका एड्रेस, बस रिपोर्टिंग पे कहीं बैन नहीं है. मैं आपको ये कहना चाहता हूं, अगर दे गो थ्रू द रियल लॉ.
So there has been an accusation of...
What a joke.
What reporting will be left, Mr. Parikh? What reporting will be left? There has been an accusation of corruption against a government service.
Who has been alleged for, I must...
आप रिपोर्ट लिखवा के दे दीजिए ना. Write out the copy for us. What will that copy look like?
The BJP is saying that you can report the fiction of corruption, but you cannot report the facts of corruption.
No government can do so.
No, Mr. Parikh, write the copy for me. What will you write?
Towards, and which is alleged that Supreme Court have uttered that particularly.
Mr. Parikh, write the copy for me. What report will you write? What will the headline say? Accusation of corruption against a government official. That's all the headline can say. So basically, we will have 20 headlines in the same newspaper that say accusation of corruption against a government official.
You can report the fiction of corruption, not the facts of corruption. This is what it will establish.
Now, Mr. Manish Parikh,
about some person, I must say,
Mr.
Manish, government, my humble submission, please listen to me, that the only...
And whereas the journalist who reports will be sent to jail, the corrupt will go scot-free.
Work of the court.
But you've gagged the work of the court. Now, you know, I have a very good question for you, Manish ji, that has come from Ishwar. Ishwar is one of our viewers who has sent us a question on involve.in. This is a very good question. I'd like for you to answer it. He says, there are issues that are being taken up across the country like Taj Mahal, Love Jihad, statues, the Mirsal movie in Chennai. These are all distractions that you're actually doing. So you can pass absolutely evil laws like the one that has been passed in Rajasthan and nobody will notice because everybody is so busy talking about Taj Mahal in Rajasthan, the Love Jihad and statues and films and things like that. Isn't that true?
No, we didn't do anything for it. We don't have to say anything because it is not the BJP's version. What the people thinks about, they say it so. What the people thinks about, they write it. I must not say anything because it is not the BJP's version. But whatever the people think, so it is the Abhivyakti ki Azadi, you know. Whatever they are saying, if you are taking in one hand, you are ready for the second hand also. Nothing has to be done. But as far as this particular amendment is concerned, it is only the fight against the corruption. But it is not only the shouting the slogans. Not shouting the slogans. It is a sincere job. It has been done to protect the person who is fighting against the corruption.
Otherwise, Aditya Jain has filed a petition against this bill. Aditya Jain, are you buying any of the justifications that Manish Parekh is giving us today?
Yes, ma'am. The law, so proposed ordinance is purely unconstitutional, ultra vires and unreasonable. If you see the provision 1 and 4 of the said ordinance, ma'am, that clearly violates the magisterial powers to investigate, and provision 4 limits the right to free speech and personal liberty as guaranteed to us under the Constitution of India, ma'am. So it is clearly violative of Article 14, 19 and 21. I've challenged this petition before the High Court today. The High Court is going to take up on 27th, and I will make sure that this is declared ultra vires. Article 14, 19 and 21 of the Constitution of India. There are already enough safeguards in terms of section 197 in CRPC to protect public servants from frivolous prosecutions. There was no need of such an amendment, and this has just been done to protect, to shield corrupt public servants, and this is just identical to the said provisions under section 197. Section 228B, which puts 2 years jail term for anyone disclosing names of those public servants, is totally unconstitutional, ma'am, because such a law cannot hold the test of constitutional water at all. I've mentioned that today, 27th it will be taken up, and I'll make sure that this fight is taken to its conclusion finally.
Well, I'm going to... It is unconstitutional. What is the duty of the government? This is a pious duty of the state government towards
development. In my last, to the best of my memory, Mr. Manish Parekh, the duty of the government was development and not to protect corruption. Where is the development?
Exactly.
Can you tell me what development has been done in the state of Rajasthan?
Yeah,
what have you been working on?
Another example of
That's why I'm saying that it is a pious duty. Whatever the Supreme Court had found in a case, that such a people who is obeying their duty, who is just making a duty lawful, duty bound to it, whatever
Supreme
is the
Court says
harassment
that you have to immediately register FIRs. Why are you giving this 6 month time, 6 months cushion period to your corrupt bureaucrats and corrupt ministers?
Whatever I'm saying.
The Supreme Court says that FIR has to be immediately registered. What they are doing is they are giving a cushion period to their corrupt ministers, corrupt bureaucrats.
Okay, gentlemen, one at a time, please. One at a time. I want to take this back to Ghanshyam Tiwari. We've heard the arguments of the BJP. Ghanshyam Tiwari?
You will never... Well, when BJP defends this as a pious act of government, I think it is shameful. It disrespects the common intelligence of our people. Second, when they say this is Abhivyakti ki azadi, I want to tell you this is Abhivyakti ki barbadi, because the entire country stood together and booted out UPA saying that it was a corrupt government. They demanded Lokpal. The Supreme Court has told the central government that you are fooling around by not appointing the Lokpal. You are fooling the people. And I see a systematic plan that BJP has. On one end, they keep the rhetoric high on love jihad, Taj Mahal, Tipu Sultan, and on the other hand, they come up with gag orders in a Shahzada case in Gujarat. They come up with another draconian ordinance in Rajasthan. Somewhere they want to ensure that on one end they can keep their moral high ground against corruption, and on the other hand they can keep building the shield for corruption to protect the corrupt that support BJP.
Well, Sharad Pradhan, what kind of corruption comes out of Rajasthan that we're looking to protect right now?
Zero tolerance against the corruption, I must say, because you are protecting the people who are making the government procedures done.
What else has been happening ever since Vasundhara Raje Scindia has been there?
Manish, please listen.
Mr. Manish, please listen to others. Mr. Manish.
Go ahead,
Mr. Pradhan. Please let others also speak. Mrs. Vasundhara Raje Scindia, ever since she's been there, she's notorious for shielding the corrupt. I know of specific cases, how many IAS officers, IPS officers, the corrupt ones have been shielded and the honest ones have been has been chastised, and they have been implicated in cases. There have been a number of cases. There have been. I know of specific names.
You better say allegedly, other's you'll also be in jail.
Please let others speak.
There is no proceeding. There is no complaint. Whatever you are saying, so
I'm ready to go to jail. If they are going to say, you are Mr. Manish.
Submission is you don't have any proof.
Manish, you're not listening, Mr. Parekh.
You don't have any evidence. And you are saying so.
Mr. Parekh, you're not listening.
Absolutely. No, you don't. For making allegations, you need prima facie evidence. That is enough. And that is enough for reporting also. What you are talking of reporting, you don't know. You don't understand what is reporting. Reporting in the media without indicating who the person is makes no sense. It is very evident that you are in for protecting such people, and you are threatening the media. You are threatening the media by not allowing them to even indicate who the corrupt man is.
For what type of purpose is there?
What the hell does it mean without? You don't understand. You don't understand the meaning of reporting. Then you are trying to.
I just want to say
this can be done only by your in-house medium. Yes,
I understand.
Yeah,
but I can say.
What can you say? What can you say, Manish?
I am talking.
Manish Parekh, what can you say?
Experience. I have done that. I have named people and they have gone to jail.
If you name out a body, and if you name out a man without any reasoning for what is the purpose it is solved for?
So there is a law of defamation against that.
He is a corrupt man.
Enough reason with prima facie evidence.
Any irregularity done by a man.
Let me bring in Sanjay Hegde. The government of Rajasthan is behaving as if there is no law right now against falsely accusing somebody without evidence. But we have laws. We have no need for a gag order, do we? Sanjay Hegde.
There is a law.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There is nothing which anybody who is falsely accused or who anticipates any damage to his reputation, nothing that prevents a man from moving the courts in a defamation suit and obtaining an order of injunction. The BJP president has just now shown you the way how it is done and how such things are possible under the normal law. Now, why do you need a law which says that nobody shall report in any manner whatsoever or disclose the identity? Let's suppose that the allegation is that the minister for roads in Rajasthan has made money. Now, there can be only one minister for roads. It is that department which from where the payments have been made. How do you even make an allegation without disclosing the identity? This kind of law is patently illogical. It is an example of absolute arbitrariness and of a legislature which has gone overboard and power drunk on its own power. This is not what the Constitution designed the legislatures for.
In fact, Faye,
no legislative body has this kind of absolute power, saying that the law is what we shall say it will be, and that everybody has to fall in line, no matter how absurd the consequence.
Absolutely. I want to bring in Urmilesh ji again.
Urmilesh ji, never give anyone such unbridled power.
Yes. This whole business of you can report without naming the person, when the ordinance very clearly says...
Who will judge whether there will be an investigation against the Minister of Roads? It will be the Chief Minister who will judge that whether there should be an investigation against the Minister of Roads in a case of corruption. So ultimately, nobody can be a judge in his own cause, and here the Chief Minister will judge whether his colleague minister is actually has indulged into an activity of corruption. So what kind of a law is this where the corrupt itself is judging where there should be an investigation against him or not?
And Sanjay Hegde clearly mentioned that there is a provision in defamation. Defamation provision is there.
Jail, because
Urmilesh,
go
ahead.
1 second. मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि भाई अगर आपकी सरकार में बैठे मंत्रियों को, सरकारी सेवकों को लगता है कि किसी ने आपके खिलाफ गलत रिपोर्ट किया है, आप डिफेमेशन केस कर सकते हैं। भारत में जर्नलिस्टों के खिलाफ इस वक्त हजार से ऊपर डिफेमेशन केसेस हैं। मैं एक ऐसे जर्नलिस्ट को जानता हूं जो मेरे दोस्त है, जिनके खिलाफ 12 डिफेमेशन केसेस हैं। आइजोल में, कोहिमा में, इम्फाल में दिल्ली के लोग, सारे स्टेक होल्डर दिल्ली के हैं, जितने किरदार हैं केस के सारे दिल्ली या मुंबई में रहते हैं, लेकिन केस की गई है आइजल में, इम्फाल में, ऐसे ऐसे केसेस हुई हैं डिफेमेशन की। तो मेरा ये मानना है एज ए जर्नलिस्ट कि पहली चीज तो डिफेमेशन में से क्रिमिनल डिफेमेशन का पूरा प्रोविजन ही भारत में खत्म किया जाना चाहिए और डिफेमेशन को सिविल डिफेमेशन तक केवल सीमित रखना चाहिए, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, राजस्थान में जो हालात हैं उसमें एक पहलू आज जरूर सामने लाया जाना चाहिए कि जो ये ऑर्डिनेंस के बाद बिल इसको बना रहे हैं, विधेयक के रूप में कानून बना रहे हैं, इसके साथ ही वहां बहुत दिनों से उन अखबारों को दबाने की कोशिश की जा रही है, उन चैनलों को भी दबाने की कोशिश की जा रही है जो सरकार के प्रति तनिक भी क्रिटिकल होते हैं, थोड़ा भी। और इसके लिए विज्ञापन बंद कर दिए गए, जितने एडवर्टीजमेंट्स हैं उनको खत्म कर दिए गए। और ये केवल राजस्थान में नहीं हो रहा है, अनेक स्टेट्स में ऐसा हो रहा है देश में कि जो थोड़ा भी ऑब्जेक्टिव हैं, थोड़ा भी जो फैक्चुअल हैं, उनको ये मान लिया जा रहा है कि वो गलत हैं, वो एंटी नेशनल हैं, वो गलत बातें बोल रहे हैं और उनका विज्ञापन बंद कर दिया जाता है। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि इसमें भारत सरकार को मैं कहता हूं सुप्रीम कोर्ट को इनिशिएट करना चाहिए कि एक ऐसी इंडिपेंडेंट बॉडी हो जो स्टेट्स में और सेंटर में अखबारों को, मीडिया को विज्ञापन देने के लिए इंडिपेंडेंट एक बॉडी बननी चाहिए, न कि राज्य सरकार और केंद्र के पास ये अधिकार हो कि वो जिसको चाहे विज्ञापन दें और जिसको चाहे विज्ञापन न दें। इससे कम से कम विज्ञापन के नाम पर जो एक दबंगई चल रही है मीडिया पर, उसे रोका जा सकेगा। राजस्थान में ये बहुत दिनों से चल रहा है। मैं नाम लेकर कहना चाहूंगा कि राजस्थान पत्रिका का जो स्वयं संघ के काफी करीबी लोग उसमें रहे हैं, मैं नहीं किसी का नाम नहीं लेता, लोग कहते रहे हैं कि वो बड़े राष्ट्रवादी अखबार रहे, लेकिन वो थोड़ा भी अगर क्रिटिकल हो जाते हैं, फैक्चुअल हो जाते हैं, तो उनके सारे के सारे विज्ञापन बंद करा दिए गए। ये एक हाल है उत्तर प्रदेश में, मध्य प्रदेश में, छत्तीसगढ़ में, बिहार तक में ऐसा मामला देखा जा चुका है। तो एक बड़ी बीमारी है। और माफ कीजिएगा, बिल्कुल अंतिम बात कि ऑलरेडी भारत में डेमोक्रेसी को आप बड़ा गुणगान करते रहते हैं, सियासत के लोग जितने लोग हैं, भैया आपके पूरी दुनिया में 180 मुल्कों में आप फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रेस फ्रीडम के मामले में आप 136वें नंबर पर हैं। गौरी लंकेश के मर्डर के बाद अभी शाहजादा की बात कोई कर रहे थे, मैं नहीं जानता कौन सा शाहजादा है, लेकिन इसमें जितनी केसेज इधर की आई हैं 10-15 केसेज, और आपका अभी जो ऑर्डिनेंस है, इसके बाद मेरे को यकीन हो रहा है कि 180 देशों में भारत में प्रेस फ्रीडम का जो इंडेक्स होगा, इंटरनेशनल इंडेक्स में भारत की जगह कहीं 170वें तक न पहुंच जाए। आई एम वेरी सॉरी।
Well, that's a very strong statement, and I just want our audience to do an exercise to understand where we're looking at it from. Grab your newspaper, any newspaper at home, turn to a corruption story. There will always be one in a newspaper, and then with a pen, score out any of the details that could get that journalist in trouble under this ordinance, which is the name, the address, the photograph, the family details, or any other particular, which is the office that they work in, the city that they work in, the department that they work in, and then see what's left of that article and what's left of that news piece. And you'll realize that even the small piece of information could result in that journalist going to jail for 2 years in an attempt to bring you the truth. This is nothing but a second emergency. This is a government trying to bring in a very, very scary rule through the back door. Remember, they used the ordinance and didn't even take it to the assembly floor. They used the ordinance to bring it in through the back door. And this is not just for journalists, as pointed out by Sanjay Hegde. This is for people who write on social media. So tomorrow you could write something on Facebook and face 2 years in prison. I'm going to go back to Arun Ram. Arun Ram, while we had the other journalists point out how grave it is, how grave the situation is in North India right now with freedom of press, the south of India is not different. There is something suspicious about the fact that this government used an ordinance, Arun Ram, and not the assembly floor.
Yeah, initially when I heard about this ordinance, I thought it was a laughing matter. But then, you know, slowly it sank in the immediate consequences of this once it becomes law, and then probably if it becomes a law across the country. It sounded so draconian that I could not laugh at it. Otherwise I would have taken it as a joke. As somebody just pointed out, on one side, if you look at it, there is a systematic way of holding at the throat of media, muffling the voices of dissent. And on one side, we have not been able to eradicate such archaic laws like the criminal defamation. Even a country like Sri Lanka has done that. We've not been able to do that. On one side, we've been archaic, we've been bad with updating our law, and on the other side, we are bringing in such legislation which are going to further muffle the voice of the freedom of press, the common man's freedom of speech. So this is a very regressive way, and it is so systematic. That is the scary part of it. The powers that be have been endorsing attacks on the freedom of press on one side and legislating to make things more difficult to people whose job is just to report, to hold a mirror to society and say this is what is out there.
Sharad Pradhan, what was the hurry to bring this ordinance? Is there something particular the government is afraid of?
Well, the government is certainly afraid that if they do not, this is a proceed. They want to ensure that before the elections come, the government gets only very good press. I'll cite you an example of Uttar Pradesh, as Mr. Umlesh rightly pointed out. There has been this activity against the media. Anybody who's writing against Yogi Adityanath is told in as many words by the information department that you are writing against our CM, why should we give you advertisements? When Yogi Adityanath completed 6 months in office, can you imagine the Principal Secretary of Information of the UP government went to the extent in front of the Chief Minister, he asked the media to clap for the Chief Minister for the good work that he had done in 6 months. They are trying to turn journalists into sycophants. This is what they want. And if this thing like this succeeds in Rajasthan, I'm sure it will be implemented in other states. It will be replicated in other states. So what they want is not a word of criticism. They don't like critical journalists. They don't give you, the critical journalists are not given appointments with if you want an interview, you won't get an interview with the Chief Minister because they don't want criticism. You need to be a stenographer. You just take down dictates from what the Chief Minister tells you.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, go ahead.
Well, all it means is then you'll have to use a lot of satire. For example, to report a corruption case against a minister, you'll have to say कि आज मंत्री जी ने दीन दयाल अवैध धन उत्पादन योजना का आरंभ किया जिससे उनके घर में लक्ष्मी प्रकट हुई. Because there is no other way you can report corruption without the facts of it. And if the government is doing that when it is unpopular, when it has allegations at the highest level, it means that government is vulnerable. And when entire BJP is silent, I am surprised that except Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, there's no voice in BJP. Where are the people who trumpeted na khaunga na khane dunga on election rallies and made people believe that they are the new anti-corruption crusaders in India? India is poor and unequal. We want real anti-corruption crusaders, not
Ghanshyam?
people who... Sure.
And Faye, where is the Lokpal?
Even there you could be hauled up.
The Lokpal law that was passed by the Congress in December 2013.
If you just mention minister...
Yeah, if you mention the specific minister, you basically, like Rajan has said on Involve, the report would read Gotala happening in Rajasthan. We can't tell you who. We are waiting for government approval. This is what an average newspaper report will read once this, this particular rule is brought in. Now, I'm going to go back to Manish Parekh. Manish Parekh, the risk here is for cartoonists,
even then
for
you
comedians.
Could be hauled up, even then you could be hauled up if you just mention minister, because there is a collective responsibility under the constitution, and if you just mention the word minister, a journalist could still be hauled up under this draconian law.
We will say RSS Pracharak.
Manish Parekh, the risk here is for journalists, for RTI activists, for cartoonists, for comedians, for people who use social media. So it seems like, Manish ji, that there is one Gotala that you are worried about right now. What is it? Tell us now.
No, nothing is to be done like that. I just want my humble submission towards that. Whatever you have been uttered the lines from the law, you have just read it out. It doesn't involve anything. Whatever you can report, whatever you can incident, what you can say, you can write, anything, nothing is prohibited, but only to suppress a person who is doing some government action or any proceeding he is making in his sincere job. That's all. So if nobody can, any notorious person cannot stop him to protect the government's interest or to do the government proceedings. It is the only thing which we have to cultivate from this act. I must say this is the government decision, but the legislative assembly is from tomorrow. It will be decided for, all the arguments will be there, people will be making their statements, they are giving their ideas, then it will be finalized.
Right.
It is not
Manishji, you might want to say that, but you have the majority right now. Having the majority in the assembly does not give you the right to pass something so unconstitutional. And you are not just disagreeing with me, you're disagreeing with three very senior journalists and a very senior advocate with the Supreme Court who joins us on this show. But I want you to hear your own citizen right now. Sudhir Kumar Upadhyay has called from Jabalpur. He's been holding onto the phone for a while. Sudhir, go ahead, we can hear you.
हेलो हेलो
हाँ जी बोलिए.
थैंक यू आप लोगों ने, थैंक यू आपने मौका दिया मुझे बोलने का
जी,
है ना. तो ये जो सरकार कानून ला रही है, भारत जैसे लोकतंत्र में इस तरह के कानून लाना मतलब लोकतंत्र का गला घोंटना है ना. दूसरी चीज यही माँ बेटे हैं जिनने ललित मोदी को बचाया है, सब जानते हैं, वो कोई किसी से छुपा नहीं है. और तीसरा, 4.25 साल हो गए केंद्र सरकार को आए, आज तक लोकपाल क्यों नहीं लाया? अपने को और अपने मंत्रियों को बचाने के लिए लोग
आप सुन तो लीजिए पहले मनीष जी. आप अपने मतलब सिटीजन की बात सुनेंगे नहीं तो फिर कैसे आप राजेश लाएंगे?
नहीं लाए, नहीं तो जिस दिन लोकपाल आएगा इनके सब मंत्री अंदर जाएंगे. और ये माँ बेटों ने ललित मोदी को बचाया, सब जानते हैं, अपने को बचाने के लिए ये कर रहे हैं. बस मैं इतना बोला, इससे ज्यादा बोलना इन लोग को बेकार है.
And the Prime Minister,
मनीष जी जवाब दे दीजिए.
In fact, the Prime Minister should answer that why has he failed to bring in the Lokpal?
मनीष जी लोकपाल के बारे में जवाब दे दीजिए.
मैं महानुभाव ये बताना चाहता हूं कि जो कोई कंप्लेन होती है जी, कोई कंप्लेन होती है, कोई शिकायत हो, कोई प्रूफ हो, कोई एविडेंस हो, उन चीजों का कोई महत्व नहीं है. केवल एलिगेट करना सफिशिएंट है. कानून की दृष्टि में क्या है? सवाल ये है, आप ये बताना चाहते हैं अगर आप इलाज करना चाहते हैं तो इलाज कानून की दृष्टि से होता है, कोर्ट करता है, न्याय कोर्ट करता है. परंतु किसी के खिलाफ केवल कुछ कह देने से, उसकी इज्जत खराब कर देने से, उसकी जो एक एफिशिएंसी है.
So fundamentally, let me ask Sanjay Hegde something. Sanjay Hegde, the gentleman who just called us. One second. Sanjay Hegde, we just had Sudhir Kumar Upadhyay call us from Jabalpur.
The same old setup.
One second.
Successive governments have functioned in that same old setup. What was the special need for the Vasundhara Raje government to bring in this law? When the earlier governments could function, the bureaucrats could function in the earlier regime, in the same old setup. I mean, there was some desperation or the Chief Minister was trying to save her own skin. That's why this law has been brought in.
I have a question for Sanjay Hegde. Sudhir Kumar Upadhyay just called us from Jabalpur and had his say on the channel.
Please listen to me, Mr. Hegde. The 4 IAS officers...
He would have gone to jail for 2 years under this rule.
Isn't that true? This is the only government of the India which sent the 4 IAS people behind the bars.
One second.
Please don't tell us. Please listen to me. It is the only government which sent the 4 IAS people behind the bars.
How many MLAs have you sent behind bars?
Your Chief Minister is involved in a 45,000 crore mining scam.
The Congress and BJP, please don't turn this into a shouting match.
She wants to secure her own future.
One second. I have a question for Sanjay Hegde. Gentlemen, please pipe down.
My friend, I want to say...
Sanjay Hegde, the citizen who called just now from Jabalpur, he would have to go to jail for 2 months under this ordinance, wouldn't he? For what he said.
Absolutely, because he indicated that the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, without using her name, and her son were complicit in a particular matter of defending somebody who is abroad or who has fled these shores. Now, even a statement like that, which directly or indirectly identifies someone, would render him liable for punishment under this ordinance. That is the true overarching or overreaching nature of this ordinance. This is so arbitrary that almost anybody and their grandfather can be roped in if the prosecution agencies are so minded. And then you spend the rest of your life trying to run away from 2 years of imprisonment. The courts will be full of such cases.
Sounds a little bit like North Korea, Sanjay Hegde, since you mentioned grandfathers as well. Right, Pramod Kumar Datta on the phone line from Kolkata. Pramod Kumar Datta, go ahead.
मैडम बोलिए, हम फोन लाइन.
हाँ बोलिए बोलिए. You're on the show, Mr. Datta. We can hear you.
I am telling all the audience and all the your panelists, BJP government is in center and state trying to impose fascism in the country.
Right.
No, I am not connecting. I have not been connecting.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead, Mr. Datta. You're on air.
I am telling all of you, but I want to reach your panel.
They can all hear you.
Ma'am, I want to tell that BJP government.
Yes.
BJP government, both in center and state, wants complete fascism. And in order to divert our mind from real issues, that is unemployment, bhukmari, health, roads, transport, they are creating every day, every agenda. Every day one agenda. So, this is a complete hypocrisy. Narendra Modi and all the state governments are creating fascism against us. This is my talking, madam.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Datta, for calling in. I'm going to take this back to Urmilesh ji. Rajasthan ranks 10th in unemployment. We know that there has been a Swachh Bharat scam where the money has been siphoned off instead of actually building the toilets that were supposed to have been built. There are several problems in Rajasthan, including starvation, that should have been solved first.
Yeah, that's true. And I will add one more point. I mean, in atrocities against SC, scheduled caste, Rajasthan is having 3rd position in the whole country, although the population of Rajasthan is lesser than many states in India. But they are 3rd in atrocities against SCs. And I will tell you, even the media, mainstream media, was not reporting the atrocities against SCs. Like there was a girl who was raped, and the rape story of that girl was revealed by social media. Then only the mainstream media took up the case, and that was also very not a very good coverage, very poor coverage. But Vasundhara Raje government very cleverly covered up the issue, and it was not made a big issue at all at the national level. So, I mean, not only this, only the Swachhta mission or other issues, गरीबों को लेकर, दलितों को लेकर राजस्थान सरकार का जो रिकॉर्ड है वो मैं समझता हूं कि देश में बहुत ही बुरा है। अब कितने लोग जानते हैं कि मध्य प्रदेश जो है बलात्कार के मामले में पूरे देश में अव्वल है? कितने लोग जानते हैं? क्योंकि मीडिया इन चीज़ों को रिपोर्ट नहीं करता। कितने लोग जानते थे या जानते हैं कि राजस्थान में एससीज के खिलाफ, और ये 2014 का आंकड़ा मैं दे रहा हूं, ये आंकड़ा मेरा नहीं है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का है, होम मिनिस्ट्री का आंकड़ा है। तो ये जो इश्यूज हैं, इसीलिए कि लोग नहीं चाहते कि मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया रिपोर्ट करे, लोग नहीं चाहते कि मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया में हकीकत दिखाई पड़े समाज की। अभी आप बताइए, झारखंड की केस है, 28 सितंबर को लड़की की मौत हुई, 11 साल की लड़की की। कितने दिन बाद मीडिया में रिपोर्ट हुआ? करीब 12-15 दिन बाद रिपोर्ट हुआ है वो मामला। और इस तरह की भूखमरी से मौत के जो इश्यूज हैं, जो मामले हैं, इस देश में रोजाना हो रहे हैं। हमारे देश में अनाज की कमी नहीं है, अनाज बचाने की समस्या हमारे यहाँ कैसे गोदामों में ठीक से रखा जाए, फिर भी लोग मर रहे हैं। और लोग इसलिए मर रहे हैं क्योंकि हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हमारा इतना पुअर है। बट मीडिया इज नॉट रिपोर्टिंग। मीडिया सिर्फ भगवान की बात कर रहा है। भगवान भी सियासत के भगवान, उनकी भजन किए जा रहा है। सरजू के तट पर 1,87,000, शरद प्रधान बताएंगे एग्जैक्ट कितने, 212 या 213, कितने दिए जलाए गए, कितना घी डाला गया नदी में, कितना शहद डाला गया। अरे भाई, ये घी, शहद, तेल प्रोटीन का बहुत जबरदस्त सोर्स है, दाल प्रोटीन का बहुत जबरदस्त सोर्स है। हम अपने देश को वेजिटेरियन बनाने जा रहे हैं और प्रोटीन हम गरीबों को नहीं दे रहे हैं, वो भूख से मर रहे हैं, कुपोषण ग्रस्त हैं। कुपोषण में हमारी स्थिति सूडान से गई गुजरी हो रही है। हम पूरे देश में अगर देखा जाए भूखग्रस्त जो देश हैं दुनिया के 119 देशों में हम 100वें पर हैं और हमारी स्थिति यह है कि अफगानिस्तान और पाकिस्तान को छोड़कर पूरे एशिया में हम पुअरेस्ट हैं। आई मीन सबसे वर्स्ट हालत हमारी है भुखमरी को लेकर, और फिर भी ये रिपोर्ट नहीं हो रहा है। और जब रिपोर्ट करना चाहता है सोशल मीडिया, आरटीआई एक्टिविस्ट इशू उठाना चाहते हैं, तो आप कह रहे हैं कि हम आपके लिए कानून लाएंगे। आई मीन राजस्थान में आप कितने लोगों को हमारे देश में मालूम है कि प्राइमरी स्कूलों का बड़ा हिस्सा, सरकारी प्राइमरी स्कूलों का जिसमें गरीबों और लोअर मिडिल क्लास के बच्चे पढ़ते थे, उनको प्राइवेटाइज किया जा रहा है। पूरे के पूरे एजुकेशन को प्राइवेटाइज किया जा रहा है, प्राइमरी एजुकेशन को। ये कितने लोग रिपोर्ट कर रहे हैं अखबारों में, कितने लोग टेलीविजन चैनलों में रिपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। तो बेसिक जो इशूज राजस्थान के हैं वो चूंकि मीडिया में न आने पाएं, इसके लिए सारा प्रबंध है। और बेसिक जैसा मैंने पहले कहा कि इसका निशाना मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया उतना नहीं है जितना सोशल मीडिया है, जितना आरटीआई एक्टिविस्ट हैं, क्योंकि इनके हवाले दिल्ली या मुंबई के चैनलों तक कहीं ये खबरें ना पहुंच जाएं, कहीं ये न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स में न छप जाए, कहीं ये वाशिंगटन टाइम्स से वाया होते हुए भारत के मीडिया में ना आ जाए। ये असल कहानी है। भजन मंडली मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया का बड़ा हिस्सा बना रहे, लेकिन जो भजन मंडली में शामिल नहीं है उनको कैसे हम गैग करें, कैसे उनको कैद करें, कैसे उनकी आवाज बंद करें, ये पूरा का पूरा खेल है।
मनीष पारेख, आप लोग इतने डरे हुए क्यों? What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid of the media? Why are you afraid of your own citizens? आपके बगल में जो आदित्य जैन बैठे हैं, आप उनसे इतने क्यों डरते हो?
नो, कोई अफ्रेड नहीं है। मैंने आपको कहा जो जन भावनाएं हैं उनसे अभिव्यक्ति होती है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जन भावनाओं को प्राप्त किया है और उनके अनुसार शासन किया है। अभी जो बात बता रहे हैं सड़कों के बारे में, मिस्टर दत्ता ने कलकत्ता से कहा सड़कों में भारत नंबर 1 हुआ है। आपने कहा इंटरनेट कनेक्शन में नंबर 1 हुआ है। चूल्हे गैस
आप कौन से आंकड़े कोट कर रहे हो? कौन सा नंबर 1?
राजस्थान के बारे में
सड़कों में भारत नंबर 1 हुआ है।
फंड में है 10 लाख लोगों के रोजगार का नाम जोड़ा गया है। तो आप ये बात कह रहे हैं कि रोजगार के बारे में बात नहीं हो रही है, ऐसा नहीं है। राजस्थान के जो पीएफ अकाउंट्स हैं, 10 लाख नए पीएफ अकाउंट 3 साल में खुले हैं और वो ही खुलते हैं जिनको सैलरीड इनकम मिलती है। तो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि इसके अकॉर्डिंग्स के आधार पर सब काम ठीक हो रहा है। लेकिन जो बात आप ये कहेंगे कि अयोध्या के दियों में तेल ना डाला जाए, तो एक तरफ आप कहते हैं कि वो अलग प्रोटीन की बात है और यहां की बात आप कहेंगे 14 में हुआ था, अब वो स्थिति डिफरेंट है। 13 तक जो कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार थी उसके डेटा आपने बताए, लेकिन जो राजस्थान में अब वुमेन का बात हुई थी उसमें डेटा डिफरेंट है। राजस्थान ने कई स्थानों पर नंबर 1 प्राप्त किया है। भामाशाह अकाउंट के नाम पर हमने सेल्फ सफिशिएंसी लोगों को दी है, महिलाओं को प्रमुख बना दिया है उनके परिवारों का, और करोड़ों खाते खोल दिए।
Mr. Manish Parekh, I don't know what numbers you're quoting. I don't know what numbers you're quoting, but if you're saying that we're number 1 in roads, we're not number 1 in roads in any of our cities. We can't possibly be number 1 in roads. So if you're going to lie on my show, you at least have to make it a more entertaining lie, because this one nobody is buying. I want to take this back to Sanjay Hegde. Mr. Hegde,
what am I saying?
There is a litigation bill.
18,000 kilometers been road been developed for whatever they are saying there. We are just making this other type of things. We don't want to go for attention towards the basic fundamentals of the needs. It is not true. That's why
Mr. Sanjay Hegde, the Rajasthan also passed a bill in 2015 called the Vexatious Litigation Bill, which forbids people from petitioning in lower and higher courts on unreasonable grounds. What does that mean?
No, it means that there is an imperious government in Rajasthan which does not want to be accountable. It does not want to be accountable to the courts. It does not want to be accountable to the media. And in one sense, it basically thinks that as long as it gets re-elected once in 5 years, it has an absolute mandate to rule in any arrogant way that it wants. The vexatious litigation in bill was designed to keep out people from filing litigation, and especially the kind of public interest litigation which often makes governments answerable to the courts, or government action which is arbitrary or which is designed to favor somebody make it the subject of judicial review. Even that kind of litigation was being sought to be curtailed by legislative action. All these are efforts, like King Canute, which think that you can prevent the waves of history from washing over when you do wrong. If the people will find out, the people will necessarily carry things to their logical conclusion, and if you attempt to suppress them by bringing in laws, those laws will either be struck down by the courts or will simply be disobeyed.
I have room for one last question, and this is for Arun Ram, resident editor, Times of India, Chennai. Everyone seems to think that this is a blueprint, an experiment that's being run in Rajasthan to then perhaps duplicate in other states. How important is it, Arun, for us in other states to be vigilant about every single thing our governments are doing to make sure that a version of this gagging order doesn't pop up in all of our states?
Absolutely, Faye, because this is something which we have to be cautious about. There, as I said earlier, there seems to be a pattern in it. I'm told Maharashtra already has the legislation, many of us missed it, and now Rajasthan is trying this. And if you look at the way in which the legislation is written, it as if, many of the newspapers in fact reported that it is a gag on magistrates. That's what apparent it was on day one. But as we read the fine print, we understood that it was not just the magistrate, it is a whole lot of people, the public, the media, anybody, and nobody could actually question. So this is a pattern. So the other states, we have to raise the voice at the right time. We need to raise high decibels. We have to be cautious. And other states, civil society at large, the media has to be on guard against a systematic effort to gag the media and destroy the basic freedom of expression. I would say that if the BJP or the government, the center, or any state, for that matter the government, the center, if it's so keen and so direct in its attempt to gag freedom of expression, why don't you just go ahead and amend the constitution? You do away with 19.1 and 19.1A, so you don't have the guts to do that. Now we are taking a very fertile backdoor entry, a backdoor attempt to mime the entire system of freedom of expression, and sure, we have all to be collectively guarded against this.
Well, I have to wrap up this conversation. I want to take a minute to thank each of my panelists, all extremely experienced, very senior. Sanjay Hegde, Aditya Jain, Sharad Pradhan, Urmileshji, thank you so much, and Arun Ram for making time to be here and help our audience understand this, because also Manish Parekh, thank you so much for coming in and helping us understand the point of view of the government, and Aman Pawar also. It boils down to this, viewers. This is not different from standing on the throat of the truth and cutting off its oxygen supply. This particular audience will make sure that nobody will ever be able to tell you the truth. And nobody will ever be able to find the truth. Because it bars from investigation, it bars the courts from ordering investigations, and it bars anybody from talking about the investigation. No journalist, no comedian, no comic strip, no cartoonist, no social media, no Facebook, no Twitter. Nobody will be able to tell you the truth. And in a democracy, a citizen who doesn't know the truth is a citizen who is not empowered, who cannot make a choice, who is unable to choose correctly in the ballot booth or the voting booth because you don't have the information. We need to stand together now to actually protect what is truly ours, the right to the truth and the freedom to speak your mind. That's what's under threat here. No story in this country is bigger than this one. Not the Taj Mahal, not love jihad, not the cattle. Nothing is as important as what has happened in Rajasthan today. Because this is a blow, a body blow to our rights as a citizen. And if this experiment gets carried through in the state of Rajasthan, then every state is going to attempt to do it. We have to be vehemently clear about the fact that this is not okay. No government can do this. None. You cannot take away the rights of the Indian citizen to know the truth and to speak the truth and to share the truth. Our constitution gives us that right. You cannot, in this attempt to shield and hide the corrupt. The manner in which the Rajasthan government did it in the staring hurry through the back door proves or suggests that they had something to hide. Something they were afraid would leak out to the public. We have to take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. And we'll talk about whether or not it's necessary to link your Aadhaar card to your bank account. That's on the other side. Don't go anywhere.